Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round 8 of the iFormula League presented by Butt Kicker. This afternoon, we are in North America, in Canada. I believe it's the only Canadian track we are visiting on this circuit. So it is the Canadian Grand Prix, and it is the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Very fast racetrack, and we've got some drivers absolutely flying around this racetrack right now, coming into free practice with just under 10 minutes left to go. See, I got our eye on Alexander Shannon. He's coming down to complete a lap. Currently is fourth quickest with a 126.9. Lewis Archer on top of the board with a 124.88. So very big gap. Looks like Ivan Baukamp is sitting in second place, almost a second and a half off Lewis Archer. So Lewis Archer definitely moving. Looking to take, I believe it's going to be 4 in a row this time. If he can pull it off. Well, actually, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, last week Lewis actually didn't win. I forgot about that. So Lewis trying to start back from scratch to get them wins piling back up in a row. So far he's gotten 3 in a row this season. We're around 8, halfway through the season next week. Then we go to Watkins Glen, so that'll be a turning point for guys that were halfway through the season. Now it's time to really hammer down and try to get some points, because the season's going to be over before you know it. We've got a few more weeks left here in our American Tour, and after this American Tour is done, there's only about 5 or 7 races, I believe, left. 5, 6, 7 races. So there's definitely getting ready for go time, especially with Lewis Archer having such a big points lead over top of everybody. As we talk about that right now, let's take a look at the point standings as they are right now after 7 rounds. Lewis Archer is up front with 122 points.
5 minutes to go.
Chris Byron there in second place with 66. Ivan Baukamp, he's currently second on the board right now, back 62 points. So 60 points behind Lewis Archer at the moment, with Don Day and Luis Colon right there in 4th and 5th in the Turning Point Racing cars. So they consistently are finishing pretty good as a team, which helps them when it comes to our constructors' points. It brings that gap down just a little bit to Lewis Archer and Chris Byram in the Coodworks F2 team. Steve Grabowski now in the Coodworks F2 team. So they definitely have some work to do to catch those two in the standings, but being just under 50 points out, still definitely possible with 2 drivers per team trying to gain points. So yeah, we're almost halfway through the season. There's your standings as they are, and we are going to get ready to get on track with qualifying. I believe there's about just under 4 minutes left to go in free practice. There's Luis Colon we were talking about earlier, having some grip issues on the racetrack at the moment. Take a look at the race info. Having a little problem with SDK at the moment. So bear with me. It's about 80 degrees outside, I'd say. On track, it's a little bit hotter, but it's not too bad. There is a little bit of a wind, so they're going to have to deal with that. But most of all, they're going to have to deal with the difference between the tight, slow corners and the very, very fast straightaways they have here. The last corner on this racetrack, known as the Wall of Champions, has taken many people out coming through. They're coming into that corner at like 160, 170 miles an hour right here to the chicane right there. That wall right there catches a lot of people off guard. You're coming really quick through that last chicane. So we'll have to see if that catches anybody out today. Take a look at Jason Siemens, a
That's 2 minutes left.
new driver here, debuting in the F2 series, and it looks like he's currently third on the charts, just behind Ivan Baukamp, who just came out of the pits there right behind him. I have a feeling turn one is going to be a little crazy, but if we can make it through the first couple laps, this race is definitely going to spread out a little bit. I'm seeing a few tenths. You see Siemens going off track and wrecking. I'm seeing a few tenths here and there between some drivers. Baukamp and Siemens being the closest of the drivers to each other there for second and third. Should make for an interesting strategy race. Who can try to undercut and do this and that, and try to gain a little bit of time on their rival in front or behind them if they got someone catching them. So 9 drivers currently showing up for the race today. We have less than a minute left in free practice. A few cars still in the pits, getting ready for qualifying. Most of our drivers out here on track. See Ivan Baukamp there. He is in the CUDA Evo F2 car, and his teammate Daniel Thomas has been having some fairly decent races the last couple weeks. He's been very fast, just been getting caught out in some tough moments and not able to put in the finishes he wants. As we see free practice coming to a close here, we are going to get ready to go and start qualifying. Daniel Thomas very, very hungry for a podium finish. Let's see who we get on track first, as we have our 25-minute qualifying session ready to go, and looks like Daniel Thomas is going to be the first car out of the pits. So let's take a little ride with him and see what he's got to see. Sorry about that, folks. We are having a little bit of a technical difficulty. There we go.
Track temperature's falling. It's now 95 Fahrenheit
here. Take a ride with Daniel. He's getting his tires warmed up. Coming down that long straightaway before that last chicane. And here comes Daniel Thomas to start his flying lap. Let's take a ride with him. Oh, and Daniel Thomas loops it around. See, Eric Beto is part of BE Racing. He is out on track. He's the first car we're going to see complete a lap since we see Daniel Thomas get loose and spin around. As he comes out of the final corner.
The guy behind has just done a
Betos is gonna put the
128.
first time down 128.472. Jason Siemens comes
The guy behind has
across.
just done a
Chris Byram
126.5.
joins session is now fast time with a 126.542. Good to see Chris Byram back in the Kuhn Works colors. He's got a little ways to go to catch Lewis Archer in the championship, but he is the closest of all the drivers. He's been taking a couple weeks off, so Chris definitely very hungry and going to be on the hunt to try to make it happen. Alexander Shanna's got his Lumos Esports car on outlap, and he gets into the wall. Currently sitting second on the board. Ivan Baukamp getting ready to complete his first flying lap. What can Ivan do? Baukamp to the top of the board, 126.430. Nice time for Ivan Baukamp. We got Luis Colon in the turning point car getting ready to complete another lap for him. He's currently sitting fourth on the board. Can he knock Shanna down? No, it's a 126.77. The same exact time as Alexander Shanna in third place. So very close to taking Shanna out of that third place position for the start. Chris Byram currently second after Baukamp took that fast lap. Can he improve and put himself back up on the provisional pole? He's gonna start his flying lap now. Lewis Archer, Daniel Thomas, Don Day, and Jason Siemens still have not put a lap down quite yet. And Chris Byram goes off. Luis Colon right behind Eric Betos. That's going to slow his time down. Going into this last corner, maybe not. 127.3, so he's going to have to go faster now. Bunch of drivers coming out on their outlaps. Baukamp, Byron, Shannon, Meadows, all coming out on their outlap at the moment. Daniel Thomas looking to set his first lap time down of the session. And Daniel goes top of the charts, 125.933. A great lap for Daniel Thomas. Jason Siemens goes second quick with a 125.956. Daniel Thomas not playing around right now, a half a second faster than Ivan Baukamp. Great qualifying pace for him. Luis Cologne just moves up to third with a 126.15. Knocks Ivan Baukamp down to fourth and Chris Byram down to fifth. Ivan Baukamp looking to retaliate. Coming through the last set of corners. Ivan's always shown good pace on qualifying. Can he knock his teammate Daniel Thomas off? No, it does move him up into third past Luis Cologne. Still some work to do to catch his teammate Daniel Thomas. Lewis Archer and Don Day still the only two to not have set a lap yet. Lewis Archer just now starting his flying lap. And Don Day on his out lap, so we will see what happens there. Chris Byram getting ready to set his next lap time. Currently fifth fastest, as we are 9.5 minutes into qualifying. 16 or so minutes left to go. As he comes across the line, gonna be good enough for fifth quick, 126.831. Ivan Baukamp coming across the stripe. And he goes to the top of the charts with a 125.893. Just 0.03 of a second faster than his teammate Daniel Thomas. And Lewis Archer goes to the top of the board with a 125.672. A quarter of a second faster than Baukamp and Thomas. And the championship leader right now moves himself to provisional pole with 15 minutes left to go in qualifying. Don Day finally sets a lap with a 128.314. That's all 10 drivers now setting a lap here in qualifying. Everybody's got their grid spot. Now it is just time to improve and move up a spot or two or six, as we see Lewis Archer jump from not having a time to being at the top of the charts. Daniel Thomas coming out. He's going to be looking to try to set another faster lap. He's only just under 0.3 of a second slower than Archer's fastest lap, so he still, in theory, can get himself back up top of Lewis, unless Lewis throws a scorching lap down here. Looks like Steve Grabowski popping into session, so another car registered for the session. That'll make it 11. As Archer comes out of the final corner, can he better his time and make more of a gap for the guys behind? And he does. It's a 125.109. Another half a second on to his lap time. And he's now 3/4 of a second faster than Baukamp and Thomas. Ivan Baukamp getting ready, or he's on his outlap, so he's going to try to make something happen. Chris Byram, currently 6th place. Trying to make something happen as he gets ready to come across the line. And that's still only 6th quickest for the 126.541. Still struggling to pick up that last second. As these cars are very fast. There's a very big learning curve to these cars. And it can throw you off if you don't drive them for a short period of time. So Chris just gotta get back into it, get in the rhythm, find his points, and by the end of the race we should be seeing Chris Byram up towards the top of the charts. Jason Siemens comes across the line. He's currently 4th position. Can he better it? No. 126.133. Just shy of where he needs to be to get Daniel Thomas. Alexander Shannon currently sitting in 7th place in his Lumos Esports entry. Starting another flying lap as we have 11 more minutes left in qualifying. Can Shannon get it done and get his car up into the top 5? He only needs half a second to beat out Luis Colon and get to the top 5. I know he'd like to start further up the field. Really, he's only a second and a half off Lewis Archer's blazing lap. So, being that he's only 0.7 of a second off 2nd place and 3rd place, he doesn't really have really that far to go. That could be just a breaking point here or there, or a bad turn in, and that's stuff that you can fix during the race. So, expect to see Shanna and the other half of this field be there if someone makes a mistake, and we've seen quite a few people making mistakes so far in practice. So being consistently a little bit slower than everybody else does have its perks, because if someone gets by and makes a mistake, you're being consistent is going to put you there. And we've seen that last week with Eric Beddoes. He was very consistent, about a second and a half slower than the leaders, and he still ended up taking a 4th place finish just because he kept it in one piece and kept it on the track. Really good effort by him last weekend. Here we see Don Day, the other Turning Point Racing entry, teammates with Luis Colon. He's currently in 8th position. Going to try to set a little bit faster lap. Still down in the 27s. Can he hit a 26 and move up the board? And he does. He knocks Alexander Shannon down to 8th place with a 126.602. Daniel Thomas on a flying lap, currently 3rd. Can he knock Lewis Archer or Ivan Baukamp down? No, 126.205, needs 4 more tenths to be able to do that. He locks it up going through turn 2. Oh, and he goes off into the grass, keeps it off the wall. That lap is going to be invalidated, but keeps it ready to where he can go one more. Ivan Baukamp coming out of the pits, going to try to take that lead from Louis Archer. Chris Byram just put a lap down, not good enough. He's still going to be sitting in 6th position. Don Day and Luis Colon together, close together on track right now. Wonder if these two are getting ready to do a little bit of team driving, trying to get a little bit of toe and pick up a little bit of speed. Luis Colon goes 3rd quick with a 125.914. That knocks Daniel Thomas down to 4th. Great lap for Luis. Puts him just 0.8 off Louis Archer and just about 0.02 off Louis Archer. Luis Colon picked his time up last lap. Can he do it again? Can he knock Ivan Baukamp down? He really doesn't need that much. Six more minutes left in qualifying. Luis Colon comes down the straight a little bit loose out of that last corner. And it's not going to be good enough. That lap was invalidated from off track, so he's going to have to try it again. Ivan Baukamp getting some toe. This might help him out. Try to get the lead. He's got Beddoes, or no, Bunting is there in front of him, giving him a massive toe down the big straightaway. And Ivan Baukamp with a 126.691. Definitely not fast enough. We got a bunch of smoke in turn 3. It looks like Daniel Thomas had an issue. With less than 5 minutes left in qualifying, these guys really only have one more shot at it. If they make a mistake, they might be able to hop out, get that out lap and get going, but it's a minute and 25 seconds around here if you're Louis Archer. And with 4.5 minutes to go, that gives you about 3 laps. Maybe 4 with the extended time if you can beat that clock to the line. But not too many laps left to go. So time ticking down. Louis Archer currently out front with a 125.109. Ivan Baukamp 7.5 tenths slower than that with a 125.893 in second. And Luis Colon in third place with a 125.914. Everybody going to be trying to get what they can out of it. Daniel Thomas coming out of the last corner. He's currently sitting in fourth, but he's having a hard time knocking these laps down. So Daniel's going to try one more time for a good flying lap. 3.5 minutes left to go in the session. And Thomas gets into the wall right in front of Louis Archer. Louis Archer gets through. Luis Colon going to try to better his time, currently sitting third on the grid. He's not going to do it. It's a 128.018, and he wrecks hard into one. Ivan Baukamp. He's coming. He wants that pole. Can he pick up that 3/4 of a second? That is a lot to ask. Louis Archer is one great driver, but can Ivan Baukamp pull off his qualifying magic? Comes across the stripe. A 126.040. He's going to have to go a second faster than that if he wants to beat Louis Archer's time and be on the pole for the Canadian Grand Prix. Really going to have to give it everything he's got. Only a few drivers left on track. 2 minutes left to go. That's your 2-minute warning for qualifying. Anybody that needs to get out now, or they're not going to make one more lap at the end. Currently 6 drivers on track. Archer, Baukamp, Thomas, Byram, Shannon, and Beddoes. Ivan Baukamp racing the clock. He's got 8 seconds. He's definitely going to get at least one more lap in. Going to really have to move if he's going to get 2. I don't think he'll get 2 more. He'll get 1 more. $126.991. Definitely not going to do it. Louis Archer coming out of the final corner. Can he improve his time? And no, he's not going to. Chris Byram coming down the long straight. He wants to start a little bit higher than 6th on the grid. He's going to get 1 more lap to try it out. Does he move up the board? No, 126.319. No movement, no changes so far. As the time ticks down, that is the end of qualifying. These guys will have 2 minutes to complete their final lap. Ivan Baukamp has Jason Siemens right behind him. I think he's a little far away to be able to get a tow from Baukamp down this straightaway. As Baukamp gets ready and comes across the line, can he pick up the provisional pole? No, not able to do it. Jason Siemens going to stay in the same spot. Chris Byram going to be the next car to cross the line. Can he pick up from his 6th place position? Ooh, gets a little too much curb on that last corner. Byram gets his fastest lap, but it's not going to be good enough. Alexander Shannon comes across the board. He's not going to be able to advance. So Louis Archer going to be your pole sitter for the Canadian Grand Prix. Ivan Baukamp 2nd, Luis Colon 3rd, Daniel Thomas 4th, Jason Siemens 5th, Chris Byram 6th, Don Day 7th, Alexander Shannon in 8th, Eric Beddoes 9th, Steve Bunting in 10th, and Steve Grabowski is rounding out the field in 11th. We got a 5-minute warm-up here after this qualifying finishes up, and we will be getting to racing very, very shortly. Once again, I want to say a big thanks to our sponsors, Butt Kicker, LTD Design, and Majors Garage. Appreciate you guys sticking with us and going on the path with us. It's been a fun ride. We've definitely got more seasons to go, as we are only halfway through this season. The 5-minute warm-up session and get ready session for the drivers has commenced, and we're going to take a slight little break, and we will be back in a few minutes for the start of the Canadian Grand Prix at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. And as we come back with just a few more seconds left in the warm-up period, we are going to just take a quick look at our qualifying order for the grid for the Canadian Grand Prix today. 45 laps going to be the distance today. Lewis Archer taking pole with a 125.109. Ivan Baukamp starting his outside in second place. Luis Colon starting in third with Daniel Thomas having a great run starting in fourth position in that Cuda Evo F2 car. Jason Siemens, Chris Byram. Everybody else. Don Day, Alexander Shana, Beddoes, all ready to go for the Canadian Grand Prix. Everybody lining up, getting on the grid. Getting ready for the lights. Very, very intense moment, making sure your car's set, your brake bias is set, everything's ready to go. Make sure your pit stop is ready. Lots of things going through your mind at the start of this race. Watching out for turn 1 and 2, which is going to be crazy. And here we go. Lights coming on.
You ready? Watch for the lights.
Lights are out and we're away with the Canadian Grand Prix. Ivan Baukamp gets a great start on Lewis Archer. Daniel Thomas to the outside. We're clean and green through turn number 2. Oh, and Steve Grabowski loses it in turn 2 all by himself. Ivan Baukamp gets away with the lead. Daniel Thomas in second. Lewis Archer trailing in third with Chris Byram in fourth. Everybody seems to have settled in a little bit. And Baukamp trying to do everything he can to pull away. Luis Colon getting really close to Jason Siemens. Oh, not able to make the move. Shannon's going to look down to the inside. Shannon trying to make a move. It's not going to work. Chris Byram has got a tail full of Jason Siemens. Oh! And Don Day spins out. No, that's Luis Colon. Luis Colon loses it. He's back on track. And everything is hunky-dory. And there's a battle for the lead. Daniel Thomas all over Ivan Baukamp as Lewis Archer breathing down their neck. Daniel Thomas has got a little wiggle there. Daniel's had a really rough go of things here. In practice, as we've seen, he's just got to make sure he keeps it on track and stays clean, because Lewis Archer's right behind him, and he's coming. And Alexander Shannon has a problem. He loops it. He's all good. Looks like he kept it off the wall. Daniel Thomas keeping the pressure on Ivan Baukamp. Lewis Archer hanging back just a little bit from Thomas. Great start of the race here. Ivan Baukamp in the lead. Daniel Thomas in second. Lewis Archer third. Chris Byram in fourth. The top 4 are all Cuda Racing e-motorsports cars. They've got to have a big smile on their face as they see their teams are at the front of the grid. Ivan Baukamp sets the fastest lap of the race with a 1:27.384. Great battle happening up here at the front. Jason Siemens has fallen in line to 5th. Don Day in 6th. Eric Beddoes 7th. Luis Colon in 8th. Steve Bunting in 9th. And Alexander Shannon is in the pits. Steve Grabowski in 11th, trying to overcome his mistake early on. Daniel Thomas moving side to side, trying to shake the draft from Lewis Archer. Lewis is coming for him. Very, very close battle as the top three as Daniel Thomas makes a move to the lead and he spins out in front of the leaders. Daniel Thomas sideways in the middle of the racetrack. With a wrecked race car. And that is going to bring out the first safety car just sitting in the middle of the racetrack. Let's see what transpired there, because that was pretty crazy. Here. Nope, that is not it. There it is. So Daniel Thomas got a good run and he dove it down into the corner and he just got on the brakes too hard, spun it around. And he tried to loop it around, and I don't know what happened, but he just came to a stop there in the middle of the racetrack. Tough break for Daniel Thomas here at the beginning of the race. But due to that incident, Lewis Archer got by Ivan Balkamp. We'll have to see how Lewis got by. It looks like it was down into turn number 1. Oh, very close battle into 2. It looks like it showed him ahead at the safety car, so I'm not exactly sure what that was or how he got up there, but currently up front, Lewis Archer, Ivan Balkamp, Chris Byram, Jason Siemens, Don Day, Eric Meadows, Luis Colon, Daniel Thomas down to 9th from that run, so got to be kicking himself with that. Alexander Shannon in 10th and Steve Grabowski in 11th. That's 4 laps completed, and a move for the lead puts Daniel Thomas into the wall and in the middle of the chicane. One of the fastest parts of this racetrack. So that is going to bring out our first safety car, with 40 more laps to go. right, well, the lights are out on the pace car. Lewis Archer in first. Ivan Baukamp with the fastest lap of the race in second. Chris Byram sitting third. Jason Siemens fourth. Don Day in fifth. Getting the tires all warmed up, getting them bunched up. We're going to go back racing here in just a moment. Sorry, folks, having some technical difficulties. Daniel Thomas moves up into the podium position. Alexander Shannon right behind him. Seeing drivers have issues all over. We've seen Luis Colon spin out there earlier. Shannon all over the back bumper of Thomas. And now Luis Colon looking to make a move on Alexander Shannon. Jason Siemens there, we've seen him have a little slip on racetrack. He's trying to keep it straight. And Colon gets loose and spins out one more time. He gets off track for cars coming and keeps it clear. Eric Beddoes now up to 6th place in that BE Racing machine, with Steve Bunting, his teammate, right behind him in 7th, so trying to get some team points for those two. And Daniel Thomas still under fire from Alexander Shannon. And the BE Racing team guys are having a little battle of their own a little further back as well. Shannon getting really close to Thomas now. Getting to a very technical section of the racetrack. Thomas goes a little bit wide. Shannon might get the power down a little bit here. He might be in a spot for an overtake. Thomas defends the inside. Shannon goes to the outside. They're side by side as they go through the corner. Great defending move by Daniel Thomas. He's going to hold on to that 3rd position. Lewis Archer still out front. Almost 3 seconds the gap now to Ivan Baukamp. Make that almost 4 now. And those two have accrued a 10-second gap over Thomas here and Alexander Shannon. Jason Siemens currently in 5th. So Daniel Thomas putting a little bit of ground now on Alexander Shannon in 3rd place there. Jason Siemens now starting to reel in Shannon as we see Steve Grabowski coming out of the pits. Steve having a tough day so far in the CUDA Racing School entry. Oh, and Alexander Shannon gets loose and spins out. Great defensive move by Siemens. Wow, what a move. Let's take a look at that avoidance. Woo! Very, very close. Nice wreck avoidance by Jason Siemens that moves him up into 4th place. Alexander Shannon down to 5th. Siemens is going to be hard pressed to catch Daniel Thomas, who is a little over 3 seconds now in front of him. Currently in 3rd. Out front of this race, the number 46, Lewis Archer. CUDA eMotorsports out here in the lead with a 5-second gap now over Ivan Baukamp, with 13 laps completed out of the 45 scheduled for today. Been very fast all week, shown in practice and in qualifying. Set the pole with almost a lap 3/4 of a second faster than everybody else. Really showing that he is still the top driver in the F2 division. The battle for second is really going to be on with Ivan Baukamp, Daniel Thomas, and Chris Byram, and I believe there's even Luis Colon is in there with the battle as well. So the midfield top 5 battle is going to be very, very close. Lewis Archer's got quite a big lead at the moment in points, but that second, third, and fourth place position are still very, very much up for grabs for many of the drivers here in this field. Lewis now has 6.5 seconds on Ivan Baukamp in the time that we've just looked at him here, and has accrued almost 18 seconds over third place, Daniel Thomas. He sent me a message earlier today and said, look out, I'm getting a podium today. And he is currently sitting in a podium position. We still have 30 laps to go, and Jason Siemens is catching him. He's just under 2 seconds from Daniel Thomas now. So Siemens reeling Daniel Thomas in. Going to have pit stops, I'm sure, pit stops starting any time now. Would work you to the end. So we'll see if any strategy comes. But Thomas currently losing ground as looks like Steve Bunting and Eric Beddoes are having a little battle with each other. It looks like Eric Beddoes actually had a problem and crashed on track. He's now currently in the pits. See what happened to Eric. Out cruising all by himself. Looks like he just got on the gas a little hard, and oh, he must have got into the wall. Oh yeah, he really did. Tried to save it, but got the front and the rear into the wall. Got out of traffic and towed to the pits. Tough break for Eric Beddoes. Definitely make sure he shows up to every single race here. Jason Siemens, we haven't really talked about him too much. We've said his name quite a few times, but he's a new driver in the F2 series. This is his debut race with the IFL F2. And putting on a pretty decent run so far. He's currently in fourth position, chasing down Daniel Thomas for that third and final podium position. And he gets loose, and he locks up the tires. That's going to lose a lot of time to Daniel Thomas. That's exactly what Thomas wanted to see. And Alexander Shannon now coming into the picture behind Siemens. Going to try to pick up some time from his mistake that he made. Oh, and Alexander Shannon's going into the pits. We have got our first pit stop. I believe our first scheduled pit stop. So Alexander Shannon moving to the pit road. And we'll see if we get anybody else that ends up following. Lewis Archer's still way out in front of the field. He's got over 8.5 seconds back to Ivan Baukamp. Ivan Baukamp running a pretty good race. He's going pretty hard. Lewis Archer's just so much faster. Ivan Baukamp's fastest lap was a 1:27.384, and Lewis Archer's fastest lap was a 1:26.463. 9/10 of a second faster than Ivan Baukamp on their fastest lap. So Archer definitely has some extreme pace here at Montreal, but Ivan Baukamp not giving up. Lewis Archer just needs to make one mistake, and Baukamp could be there to pounce on him. Daniel Thomas putting in a great run for himself, currently sitting P3. This would be the highest finish ever and his first podium with the IFL. So definitely has something to drive for, and definitely has a reason to not make any mistakes. Jason Siemens is 3.7 seconds behind him. So Siemens, even after his mistakes, starting to catch back up even to Thomas now. But I'm sure that's because Thomas is making sure that he's staying clean, he's keeping it on the racetrack, and he's not making any mistakes. And we've seen Jason Siemens doing what he can to catch Daniel Thomas, and he starts to get close, and he makes a mistake. As Daniel Thomas makes a mistake and goes off track, that's going to allow Siemens to catch up a little bit. Really got to watch that technical section of the racetrack. It can jump out and bite you. Looks like Steve Grabowski has retired from the race, so that number 48 machine going to be the first retirement of the day. And Siemens starting to reel Thomas in. 1.2 seconds the gap now. Almost in range for the slipstream and get that toe. Have to imagine he's going to get that toe next lap unless Daniel Thomas makes a pit stop, and it looks like he's not. Siemens going to stay out on track as well. Daniel Thomas trying to reel in the gap to his teammate in second place, Ivan Baukamp. Currently 13.5 seconds up to second place. But he is starting to get Jason Siemens there. Getting very close, within a second now. Definitely in the slipstream. See how much Siemens can gain on Thomas on the next one. 0.8 of a second the gap. And here we go. He's picked it up to 0.6 of a second now. So can he gain on the straightaway in the slipstream? Thomas doing everything he can to break the draft. He only gained a 10th on him. Can he outbreak him? Thomas goes off. That's going to give Thomas a slowdown. Jason Siemens going to move up into third position. Thought Thomas might be taking a pit stop, and that might have been the better option for Thomas. Daniel Thomas moves down to fourth. Luis Colon in the pits for his pit stop. And Jason Siemens now finds himself up into third place in a podium position. And out front, Lewis Archer not really pulling away much more. He's got a gap of about 10 seconds back to Ivan Baukamp. And he's just kind of holding on to that gap at the moment. He is gaining a little bit, but not like he was at the beginning. So Lewis might have kind of got to that 10-second gap and was like, all right, I can calm down a little bit. I don't have to go crazy. Don't have to induce any more risk. I got some time. Definitely not enough to get a full pit stop in without Baukamp getting in front of him. But the only thing I can think of is that Ivan Baukamp attempts an undercut. He's still a ways away from Lewis. 11.5 seconds now back. So it's going to be definitely tough to catch Lewis Archer today. But it is still possible. As we get close to the halfway point, 20 laps complete, 25 more laps to go. Archer currently on lap 21 and just hammering the laps down here. Lewis Archer's last lap was a 126.89, and Ivan Baukamp's last lap was a 128 flat. So really really fast here for Lewis, and it doesn't seem to be like he's really actually letting up too much. He is still just a few tenths off his fastest lap. And towards the end of the race, if Lewis keeps pushing like this, I have no doubt we'll see 125 come out of Lewis Archer today. Ivan Baukamp still holding on to second place. And he comes across with a 127.8, so not really sure what's going on with Ivan Baukamp, but he's just not really putting any pace down compared to Lewis Archer with a 126.442, which just happened to be the fastest lap of the race. So not really sure what Baukamp is thinking. Maybe he's hoping that Lewis Archer will make a mistake, but or maybe he just knows that he's not fast enough, and second place is all he's gonna get. So he's gonna try to extend the gap to the third place car as much as he can, and that's gonna be good enough for him. We'll have to see if he can come out with some crazy strategy to get Lewis Archer behind him. But at the moment, Archer looks unstoppable here in Montreal. A little further back, it looks like we've got a little battle with Chris Byram and Alexander Shannon and Steve Bunting stirring up the battle for 5th, 6th, and 7th. Oh, and Alexander Shannon loses it. Gets sideways and he keeps it straight. That's going to be another position. Alexander Shannon loses. He's now down to 7th. And Chris Byram, after that big crazy accident, gets back 6th. Gonna try to get by Steve Bunting here. It looks like Bunting's gonna let him by. It's gonna move Chris Byram up to 5th position. And trying to hunt down Daniel Thomas, who is a ways in front of him. Just about 46 seconds in front of him. So Steve Bunting gonna put on a little bit of a charge here. And he's gonna, no, he's not going in the pits. Looked like he was about to. But he is just overshooting the corner, so he's going to get a slowdown penalty. And Alexander Shannon will get up to 6th position. Looks like Eric Beddoes had an issue, and he is missing a front nose. And our leader, Lewis Archer, is in the pit lane, making his pit stop. So Ivan Baukamp is going to assume the lead at the moment. And I can only think that he is just going to run that car till he can't run it no more. And hope that Lewis Archer gets caught in some traffic. But I believe Lewis is coming out already. And yeah, Archer's already out of the pits. And I don't think he's got any traffic in front of him. He does, actually. He has Luis Colon in 8th position in front of him. And then it is up to Ivan. So Archer does have a lapped car in between him and Baukamp at the moment. That could slow him down just a little bit. But he had over 10 seconds on Ivan Baukamp when he went to the pit road. So there's now 14 seconds here. It looks like a 42-second pit lane time or so. So Ivan would essentially come out behind Lewis at 20 seconds behind or so, depending. So Archer's still in a very good spot. Jason Siemens still needs to pit, and as I say that, he is hitting pit road. So our third place driver into the pits, and Thomas in the 96 going to reassume third place. He was on pit road earlier in this race after his incident, wondering if maybe he can make it to the end. If he could make it to the end, there's a good chance that he can possibly get by Ivan Baukamp for second place. He'd really be stretching fuel to the end, but I believe it was lap 7 or 8. We had that safety car. So, I mean, if he took his pit stop and his tires and his fuel early on, he may be almost running out of fuel at the end of the race, but he could be potentially done with pitting. And our leader, Ivan Baukamp, is now in the pits. So that should put Archer in the number 46 out past Ivan in the number 8. As we see Baukamp there running down pit road speed. Lewis Archer is going to take the lead. Is Daniel Thomas going to get by Ivan Baukamp? Ivan Baukamp stops for his stop. And Daniel Thomas moves up to second place. So Thomas back up front. Can he hold it there? Is he going to need to make a pit stop for fuel at the end? He's got to not make any mistakes. His fastest lap of the race is 2/10 faster than Ivan Baukamp so far. So as long as he can continue on with a decent pace, not make any mistakes, he could still be in position for a podium. Out front, 9 seconds ahead, Lewis Archer getting it done as we are past the halfway point. 20 more laps to go in the Canadian Grand Prix. Lewis Archer out ahead of Daniel Thomas by 9.4 seconds. And Daniel Thomas has got a lead on Ivan Baukamp by 7 seconds. And Baukamp has a gap on the fourth place car, Jason Siemens, of 18.3 seconds. So the front cars being separated by just over 30 seconds. And Lewis Archer has Luis Colon in 8th place, a lap down, so he's going to be trying to hunt down Steve Bunting. Steve Bunting about a third of a lap in front of Lewis Archer at the moment. Ivan Baukamp hitting the fastest top speed out of everybody so far with 183 miles an hour at the speed trap at the end of the straightaway, I believe is where it's at. 183, so very, very quick for Ivan. Not exactly sure how he got that much higher than everybody else with the 167, so pretty quick, pretty quick, but he's definitely hard pressed to try to catch Daniel Thomas. He is doing it. He's got about 3 seconds now, 2.5 seconds. Daniel Thomas has got to be having an issue because Ivan Baukamp is coming, and Baukamp is coming quick. And this is going to be your battle for second. Maybe Thomas just trying to save some fuel, knowing that it's going to be tight towards the end of the race. Oh, and Daniel Thomas goes off track. That is not going to be good for him. Jason Siemens is there. 17 seconds back now from Thomas. Now if Thomas makes a pit stop, he is going to lose a spot or two. Really needs to make sure that he stops making mistakes. Currently he has 5 off tracks. So definitely having a rough go of things. Ivan Baukamp trying to chase down Lewis Archer, who continues to set faster and faster laps. Lewis Archer still has the fastest lap of a 1:26.437. In the last couple laps, Archer's turned some 1:27, so maybe he's kind of letting up just a little bit due to having a 20-second lead now over Ivan Baukamp. So Daniel Thomas trying to chase down Ivan Baukamp. 1.4 seconds now the gap. Making that mistake, and he gets loose there coming out of the corner, but he's definitely got a fire right now. Really wants to battle with Ivan. Will he be able to catch that number 8 and his teammate? E Motorsports having a great run today. The Evo guys 2 and 3, definitely a great team run, as Lewis Archer posts another fastest lap of the race with a 1:26.309, getting close to the 25s. As Daniel Thomas now 1.3 behind Baukamp and still gaining. As we get to 15 laps to go. 30 laps complete. Lewis Archer out front. Ivan Baukamp in second. And Daniel Thomas chasing him down in third. Jason Siemens currently fourth, with Chris Byram in fifth. Battle of the podium and battle of the Evo Daniel Thomas getting within a half a second of Ivan Baukamp now. Hitting the fast part of the track. He's definitely getting that toe. And he's right on Ivan's tail. Will Ivan give it to him? Or is Thomas going to have to work for it? Daniel Thomas looks a little bit. Is he going to make a move down into turn number 1? No, he's going to play it cautiously. Loses a little bit of time on Ivan there, but it looks like he's having some internet issues. It's showing him way back. Not sure what's going on there. But it looks like Daniel Thomas having some internet issues, and that stops him from battling with Baukamp. I have to follow that and see if he can still be showing me that Daniel Thomas jumped to the pits. It is possibly out of this race. What a turn of events. Not really sure what happened there. But Daniel Thomas out of the race. Wow, that moves up Jason Siemens to a podium position in 3rd right now. And Chris Byram is still 16 seconds behind Jason Siemens. So, very good position to be in after a really unfortunate ending for Daniel Thomas, who is having such a great run. Siemens puts in a 127.8, so not really pushing it too hard. Just trying to maintain position. He's got a lot of space in front and a lot of space behind, so he's got some time to work, and with 13 laps to go, he's really just got to keep it on track at this point, and he'll get a first podium. As I say that, he goes into the wall and off track. He's back in the wall, trying to turn around. And he gets it going back straight. But Chris Byram coming around the corner. And Chris Byram's going to move up into 3rd position. A very tough break for Jason Siemens as he parks it and tows to the pits. Not exactly how he wanted his iFormula F2 debut to go, but he really did put on a good showing for the first part of this race. Just having a hard time finishing it out. This car is very difficult, and if he's new to driving this car, sometimes it just gets you. It looks like we've got a little battle for position with Luis Colon and Steve Bunting for 5th position. Colon just gets by Bunting, but Bunting's still trying to hold on in battle with what he's got. Both these drivers a lap down at the moment. Lewis Archer just has amazing pace in that number 46 machine and gets a lot of these drivers caught a lap down by the end of the race. Currently 4 drivers on the lead lap at the moment, with Alexander Shannon soon to be at risk with going a lap down himself. Colon seems to have pulled away from Steve Bunting. And out front, Lewis Archer just hanging in there, being out at his favorite place in the front of the race. Getting close to get to the single digits with laps to go, and he's got that victory in sight. He can smell it, and he's just gotta maintain. He's got 28 seconds back to Ivan Baukamp, and almost a minute back to Chris Byram. So Lewis could do just about anything right now other than destroy his car, and he can still recover from it. So in a very, very good position. And I'm sure he's worked very hard to put himself in that position throughout this whole race, because 26 threes don't come out every single day. You see Ivan Baukamp with a 127.384. Chris Byram with a 126.6. He's got a pretty quick lap there. I see a 126.9 by Luis Colon. So he's not like a full second faster than everybody else, but he definitely has at least a good half-second pace over everybody else in this field today. Ivan Baukamp still holding on to second, not making any mistakes quite yet. He hasn't had any off tracks. Working to try to get that extra bonus point for the cleanest race. It looks like he's possibly in a position to do that. We have 10 more laps to go, so the lap's starting to wind down. Don't see too much of a battle on track. The most recent battle we saw was Luis Colon and Steve Bunting, and those two are now almost 7 seconds apart. So very, very spread out race, kind of like we had anticipated beforehand. Everybody basically now just trying to hold on to their spot for the end of the race as Lewis Archer comes and we start the single digits. 9 laps to go here in the Canadian Grand Prix, and Lewis Archer leads the field by almost 30 seconds. 30 seconds over Baukamp in that Coup de Evo in second place. So pretty spectacular run for Archer this afternoon. He is definitely going to be happy with his results here after his week last week. Tough break for Archer. Didn't really have the result he was looking for, but he is coming back. Looks like Chris Byram is in the pits. Looks like Chris Byram is in the pits. Not sure what happened to Chris Byram. Jason Siemens had an issue. Let's see what happened to Jason Siemens. Got into that wreck, but he's now. Did Chris Byram get some damage from that? Because Chris is now in the pits, and that's going to be his second pit stop. I don't think he got any damage from that, so not sure why Byram is in the pits, but he is now a lap down right behind Lewis Archer. Alexander Shannon is right there in the distance. So, I mean, he had the gap to do another pit stop. Maybe he needed a little bit more fuel, or maybe he wanted some more tires. Not exactly sure what that pit stop was for, but didn't really do any harm. It just put one less car that Archer had to go. And Alexander Shannon gets a little sideways, goes off in the grass. Luis Colon trying to catch up. Big mistake for Shanna. Gonna lose some ground on Archer and lose ground on Cologne. Luis Cologne now 1.6 seconds behind Shanna. This is a battle for 4th position. Can Cologne catch and make a pass, gain at another spot? He still has a little bit to go to be able to catch him. But we still have, looks like 7 laps to go. So he definitely has time if he doesn't make any mistakes. His fastest lap is second faster than Alexander Shannon this race, so definitely has a little bit more shown pace. So maybe he can capitalize on that and make a move in the 4th position and get Turning Point a few more points. Don Day currently in 7th place. He's going to be trying to make some moves on Steve Bunting. But those two are 25 seconds apart, so Don might just be trying to hold on to that 7th place spot. But Luis Colon getting a run on Alexander Shannon down the back straight. He's going to think twice about making a move into the final chicane, but he might make a move into turns 1 and 2. This track is fairly wide. You can make some moves. And he over brakes a little bit there, really trying to make it happen. Almost goes a little wide. He's going to lose a little bit of time. He's going to have to catch it back up. But he definitely has the pace to catch up to Shannon. But trying to get by him on this track is another thing. Nose to tail as we get to our first fast section. Can Luis get him in the braking zone here? He's going to look to his outside and try to undercut back to the inside. Not going to be able to do it, but they're going to be nose to tail down the long straightaway. Is he going to use that toe to the advantage? Which way is he going to go? Outside or inside? Looks to the outside. There, wheel to wheel. Getting ready to go to the last chicane. 5 more laps to go when they get to the line. This is a battle for 4th position. Oh, and they touch! They both get sideways. They both keep it straight. Not sure if either of them have damage. That's a fairly fast corner. Colon trying very, very hard to get by Alexander Shannon. And he goes into the wall. That's going to end Luis Colon's race. He's going to be sideways. Lots of damage to that machine. And he is going to try to limp that number 24 back to the pits. He might have a fast repair. He might be able to get it fixed and try to stay out in front. But Steve Bunting is coming fast, only 8 seconds behind now. Don Day 35 seconds behind. So just like that, we could see change in position. And Steve Bunting is coming. Might be able to move that BE Racing machine into the top 5 before the end of the race. Lewis Archer gets to the stripe. 4 more laps to go. Ivan Balkamp still 35 seconds behind Lewis Archer in second place. Chris Byram in third. Alexander Shannon fourth. Luis Colon in fifth, but he's in the pit lane. Steve Bunting is going to drive by him on the front straightaway, and he's going to take fifth position. Lewis Archer still out front. He's got Chris Byram, the lap car, in third position right behind him. That's how fast Lewis Archer is. The car behind him is in third position and a lap down. Lewis Archer has amazing pace. It looks like Don Day is going to go by Louis Colon as well. So Colon down to 7th, Don Day to 6th. And as Lewis Archer comes across the stripe, that is 3 more laps to go in the Canadian Grand Prix. Lewis Archer still with the fastest lap of a 1:26.309. Didn't get down into the 25s like I expected, but he doesn't really have a reason to push at the moment. You know, he's got the fastest lap of the race already. He's basically got the race won as long as he doesn't crash out, and he's got his teammate behind him to stop, you know, anybody like Ivan if he does happen to gain that 39 seconds to get to his back bumper. So Archer doesn't really have much to push for or much to do. It's just make clean laps towards the end of the race to win. I believe this is now his 5th win this season. You might have to check. It's either his 5th or 6th win. I believe it's his 5th win this season in the IFL F2. So gonna put a little bit more of a gap on the leaderboard. Over top of second place right now, Chris Byram. But with Ivan Balkamp finishing in front of Chris Byram so far, and possibly having the bonus point for the safest race, that might move Ivan Balkamp into second place in front of Chris Byram. Because if we take a look here at the driver's standings, in the bottom right hand corner of your screen, Chris Byram is only 3 points ahead, or 4 points ahead of Ivan Balkamp. So if Ivan Balkamp scores the 18 points and Chris Byram scores the 15, but he gets that 1 extra point for the safest race, that makes now Chris Byram and Ivan Balkamp tied for second place in the points. So that's going to make things very, very interesting when it comes to the points race, with Byram coming back this week and Ivan Balkamp having a pretty decent run here. So pretty cool to see little things like that unfolding as we get closer to the halfway point of the season. Lewis Archer is going to come out of the final corner, and he's going to come across the stripe. The white flag is in the air. 1 more lap to go for Lewis Archer in the Canadian Grand Prix. Ivan Balkamp 41 seconds behind in second place. Still just over halfway completed with his lap as Lewis Archer is going through turn number 3. Pretty awesome run by Balkamp this afternoon. Just didn't have the raw pace he needed to catch Lewis Archer. Chris Byram, amazingly, he was driving around the racetrack without a rear wing. And he is currently now sitting in third place looking at a podium. So really awesome drive, really good salvage run for Chris Byram this afternoon. But the man of the hour is this guy right here, getting ready to come down the long straightaway. He's already celebrating inside that car. And as he comes through the final chicane, he keeps it clean. One last stretch. Lewis Archer is gonna win the Canadian Grand Prix. What a drive by Lewis Archer. Comes out here, sets fast time in practice, sets fast time in qualifying, and blows the field away. Laps third place. There's Chris Byram coming across the line. And Ivan Baukamp still out on track trying to finish his lap. The two CUDA Works drivers celebrating their podium. And Ivan Baukamp getting ready to come through the last chicane. He's going to come home in second place. Great run for Baukamp. He's on the podium. Getting some points for the CUDA Evo team. Chris Byram comes home in third. Alexander Shannon in fourth. And Steve Bunting still on track. He gets by. Oh, he's all done in sixth. Luis Colon in sixth. Don Day in seventh. Looks like Jason Siemens coming home in eighth. Daniel Thomas in ninth. Eric Beddoes in 10th, and Steve Grabowski running out the field in 11th as our first retirement. But your winner today, Lewis Archer in the number 46 CUDA Works eMotorsports entry. What a drive by Lewis this afternoon. We will get ready here to see what we can do about interviews. So we will see here in just a moment as their cool down lap commences. Lewis Archer celebrates his victory. I don't see the two CUDA Works drivers in the Discord chat, so we'll see if they decide they're going to come up for an interview. But we have got our second place finisher, Ivan Baukamp. We'll see what he has to say. Ivan Baukamp, Rob Slater up in the booth. You got me, bud? Ivan, what a drive today, man. It was so hard to see the raw pace that Lewis Archer had today. How do you, I mean, you had a great run in second and you really gave it everything you had, but he was almost a second faster than you in most of the race. How do you go through when someone's just got that much pace to try to actually put yourself into a position to win this race?
Yeah, not try to push to gain on Lewis, because I tried his setup and it's a great setup. Only the braking was it didn't suit my driving style. So I rather drive with the PDS, and I had lots of understeer and oversteer, and it was hard to keep the car on the track. You know, it was a real battle with the car. It was more battle with the car than all the others on the track, because at some point I had so much time between me and I think it was Daniel behind me. And I was like, let Lewis go and just keep them behind. And that's what I did, man. And P2.
So you guys had a great battle between your teammate Daniel Thomas. It looked
Mhm.
like you guys were gonna have a 2-3 podium going there. And even at the beginning of the race, Thomas showed a very he kind of dove it into that final chicane, trying to make a move on the lead for you.
Yeah.
Were you expecting him to dive and try to take it? Were you giving it to him, or
No, not at all. No, 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 no. Because in Austria, Daniel let me go, and if Daniel really had the pace, and if I was holding him back, I let him go, you know. But I didn't see him coming, man. I didn't expect it in the first lap, and it happened later, I think too. I think that Daniel still needed to pit, but we didn't have a radio connection on Discord, so yeah, we didn't communicate, and I did my stop, and Daniel came ahead of me, and I expected that he didn't do his stop. I'm not sure if he did. If he did, then he had a massive stop because he came ahead of me, and he spinned. And I was asking on the radio of iRacing, can I pass? Do you still need to pit? And he was off the track. I could have passed him. I said thank you. And later, some laps later, he was gaining. And I don't know. I think he tried to overtake or something. I didn't look. I didn't saw what happened. I saw he was losing time, and yeah, he went off. Yeah, off the track later. I hope it wasn't my mistake. I think he yeah still needed to stop. I'm not sure. I will talk with him, but yeah, I hope it's not my fault that he was off the track, man.
Well, it was definitely a very bold move. Trying and you're a very good driver. You've shown that you've got pace and that you've got what it takes to be on the podium each and every week.
Hmm.
And with somebody who's really trying to prove themselves, especially in a team with such great talent, um, it really does show that he's got that drive to try to be better than the
Yeah.
best. But
It was a
sometimes
great
it's
race.
it's it's just when and where you make that decision and when you don't. Luckily, you kind of seen it coming after he spun and you kept it clean. It looks like you had zero off tracks and possibly the safest race,
Oh yeah,
which
that could be, man.
which would
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
I believe, moves you tied with Chris Byram for second in the championship. Now
Mhm.
you're battling right tied with Byram for second, but Lewis Archer is almost 70 points ahead of you. What do you do now in the next 10 races to close that gap on Lewis Archer and put yourself into contention for this championship?
Well, I think a kamikaze. It's the only way. But no, that's not my style. So yeah, I will see what happens. Look, it has to be luck, man, because Lewis is a great driver, and I think he will be on the podium every race. I will beat him this season for sure. But in the championship, he's so far ahead of me. And yeah, I focus myself now of keeping Chris behind and Louis Colon. And yeah, that's my goal, man. I go for the P2 in the championship, and yeah, I will beat Lewis sometimes on track, and yeah, he pretty much did it
Well,
this season.
you
So,
are definitely getting it done. Currently, sitting, it looks like P2 and P3 in the championship with Chris Byram. So great run today here at the Canadian Grand Prix. Next week we go to Watkins Glen to continue our American stint of the tour, and for I believe it is round 9 of our championship, which is the halfway point. So you're sitting in a pretty good spot. You got anything up your sleeve for the rest of the season?
yeah, just more practicing, and I hope the conditions will be better, and yeah, I will make my setup better, and Lewis will learn me something. So yeah, I will try to make them great for myself, and yeah, that's my goal, man. And just try to keep it on P2 because P1, yeah, I think Lewis is already champion. So yeah, we see what we can do, and I will beat him on track, and I go for P2, man.
Well, very nice drive this afternoon. P2 sitting on the podium. Enjoy it, and we will see you next week in Watkins Glen.
Cheers, up.
There he is, Ivan Baukamp, P2 in the Canadian Grand Prix. And it looks like we've got Chris Byram, who walked up here.
There you
Chris
go,
Byram finished third place here in the Canadian Grand Prix. Chris, welcome back to the IFL. It's good to see you back here and putting it back up on the podium for your first time back here. How does that feel for you after a really absolutely crazy race?
Yeah, pretty good. Bit of a difficult race, really. Struggling with the brakes in practice, really. Just quite grabby. Bash the laps out and just carry on. Do you know what I mean? So there were enough dropouts and enough people making mistakes where I could capitalise on that and get back on the podium, which is good. So I like this track, but then at the same time I don't, because there's really no room for it if you do make a mistake.
Well, you did drive away from the accident without a engine cover or a rear wing, and still managed to put it on the podium. What goes through your mind when it's a race like this, a race of attrition? It's not really racing side by side with people trying to gain positions here and there. It's literally just trying to make it to the end and make sure it stays clean. How does your mind change from like a track like a Monza, where you're just trying to stay as close as you can to the other drivers and make your moves, whereas this one you're very spread out. There's 10 or 15 seconds between you and the next driver. How do you differentiate your mind and make sure you're set in a good mindset for the conditions you're in?
Just dial it back a little bit and just, I've got my delta on, so just trying to be consistent and smooth and string the laps together and try not to make any errors. Do you know what I mean? So a couple of points where I did towards the end, missed a gear. I was supposed to drop down to second, but ended up taking in third, so to cut across the grass. So sometimes it's just easy to sort of bail out or rectify mid-corner, and rather than trying to fix it straight away and then end up making a mistake. So yeah, it's just keep your head down, carry on, stick it to the end, because at the end of the day, points make prizes, and if you end up quitting the race, then you ain't going to get any points, are you? So,
well, at the end of the race, you're still sitting here P3 on the podium, and you came back at the perfect time. I believe if you look at the points after this race, I believe you're tied with Ivan Baukamp now for second. You finished just in the spot there to be able to tie him and stop him from taking second place in the championship. What is your goal for the rest of the season? There's 10 more races left to go. Lewis Archer is about 70 or so points in front of you and Baukamp. How do you weigh in to get try to keep Ivan behind you, but at the same time try to beat Lewis Archer, who's very, very fast, almost 3/4 of a second faster than the rest of the field today? So how do you attack the rest of the season?
just practice. Practice. I mean, rest of the circuits coming up, I'm pretty happy with.
Well, congratulations on your podium, Chris. Great to see you back up there, and we look to see more from you out of the rest of the season, and good luck next week at Watkins Glen.
Cheers, buddy. Take care.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen, your second place finisher. Doesn't look like Lewis Archer wants to have any words after that race. He just wants to go straight to celebrating. So that is going to be it for us today. Lewis Archer going to take home the win of the Canadian Grand Prix. And we will show you the results here from your race. Lewis Archer coming out in front. Ivan Baukamp in second position. Chris Byram coming home third, finishing out your podium. Alexander Shanna brings his Lumos Esports car home in fourth position, picking up some decent points for him and his team. And Steve Bunting with the BE Racing guys finished in fifth, so he got some good points today as well. Luis Colon and Don Day in 6th and 7th with the Turning Point Racing team. And Jason Siemens finishes 8th place in his debut in the IFL F2. Daniel Thomas, after a very, very promising start to this race, looked like he had some connection issues or internet issues. Something ended up happening, and he ended up falling to P9, so very tough break for Daniel Thomas. He was on track for a podium this afternoon. Definitely going to have to go back after it twice as hard at Watkins Glen next week. Eric Beddoes and Steve Grabowski rounds out our field for this afternoon. What a race it was. Lots of drivers having issues going off track and just getting loose and spinning out. Not even fully spinning out, just really losing grip on them tires and doing what they can to save it. So very, very much so the F2 car showing how tough it is to control. Next week, like I said, we do go to Watkins Glen, so make sure you tune in for that race, 3:45 Eastern time next week, Saturday. And also tomorrow, we have the IFL F3 division coming to you right here from the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve for their Canadian Grand Prix. So make sure you check those out. That's 3:45 Eastern tomorrow, Sunday. They go live with the last little bit of practice. Until next time, we want to give a shout out to Butt Kicker and LTD Designs, Majors Garage. Been awesome sponsors for us over the past, and we look forward to the future we got with them. But until next time, I'm Rob Slater, and you guys have a great night.